Hello duelists, Russ Merrill here, and today I've got quite a special opening prepared for you guys. Today we are going to be opening Japanese Duel Masters, specifically the 20th Chronicle decks, starting with Battle Now, Bolshack Duel, and Voltage Max Outrage Victory. First up, why don't we start with the familiar sounding Bolshack Duel. Okay, so this is all that was in the box. First, we have 2 packs of sleeves, it seems. The first one features the awesome design that was on the box and packaging as well. I believe this should be the new Bolshack Dragon monster that is featured as the ace of this Chronicle deck. And the second pack of sleeves seems to feature characters from the Duel Masters series. I think the English version of Duel Masters ended so early, the anime included, that we didn't really get to meet any of these guys, I think. At least I don't really remember any of them except maybe the bottom right guy. I think that's like the white-haired light civilization user with Alcadeas. But the rest, I'm not too familiar with because in the English version, we didn't get that far. And finally, we've got a pack of cards. Okay, so the cards are divided into 2 sets. I believe this is the actual 20th Chronicle deck consisting of 40 cards. And then the remaining 20 cards here actually consist of a selection of different characters and creatures for you to actually play a single player format where you actually use this deck in order to fight against I guess you could say a deck of enemy creatures and characters. Yep, so that's a little bonus that comes together with this deck. But let's of course start with the juicy stuff first. So here we have the deck and what seems to be... Dude, this card back is so nostalgic. A little manual here that I think is just a description of how to play the deck and how like the different mechanics combo together. Yep, that seems to be the case. And behind is just a rulebook for those who are unfamiliar with the game. Okay, but the rules haven't changed much since we played this back in English, I think like 20 or 15 to 20 years ago. But anyway, what are these 20th Chronicle decks? Well, as the name suggests, they are here to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Duel Masters game in Japan. And of course, just like Yu-Gi-Oh!, something that they did to commemorate this momentous occasion is to create products such as these structure decks to basically celebrate the past characters, monsters, creatures, and of course protagonists in the Duel Masters series. And this Bolshack Duel 20th Chronicle deck over here, as the name suggests of course, features Shobu Kirifuda, the very first Duel Masters protagonist that some of you guys might remember seeing in the English dub of the anime if you happen to be around my age, and of course his ace monster, Bolshack Dragon. These decks contain a combination of both reprints and new cards, but are essentially themed around these protagonist aces. Now, those of you guys who haven't been keeping up with Japanese Duel Masters or didn't even know that it's still alive somewhere in the world might be very surprised by what you're looking at right now with this card that seems to be divided into 2 halves. So this is a new kind of card in Duel Masters known as a twin pack card, where the top part is a creature, while the bottom part is a spell. Of course, they have different costs, different effects, and you can choose which one to use in different situations. I honestly just bought these decks out of nostalgia, and I think it'll be pretty cool trying them out with friends and just to see how the game has evolved from back in the day. So I'm just gonna slowly go through them, take my time, be a bit chill, and take a look at all of the effects. Now first here we have Bolshack Yamato Dragon as a twin pack card. He is an armored dragon samurai with speed attacker and double breaker, and while attacking, this creature's power increases by 1000 for each fire civilization creature in your graveyard. Now that should be very similar. I think the original Bolshack had this effect as well. And when you destroy an opponent's creature with 6000 power or less using Bolshack Musha Dragon's effect, you can destroy one with 12,000 power or less instead. Okay, so clearly this guy's supposed to interact with Bolshack Musha. Some of you guys might remember that Bolshack Steel Dragon was the second trump card of Shobu in the anime after moving on from Bolshack. Anyway, the spell card at the bottom is Yamato Slash. It is a shield trigger. Destroy one opposing creature with 4000 power or less. But if you have a dragon on your field, which I think is going to be very easy with this deck, you can destroy one with 12,000 power or less instead. That is pretty damn busted. I mean, you'll probably flip it on shield, and even from your hand it's only 4 cost to play, and you're burning a 12k power creature for only 4 cost. I mean, back in the day, this would have been unimaginable. So 2 of that. Next, you have Bolshack Duel Dragon. From the name, yes, this one is clearly the one on the cover, so I think this is the new Ace Bolshack. He's just an armored dragon. He's a speed attacker with powered breaker, and when this creature is placed, you can choose one opponent creature and send it to its owner's mana zone. After that, you may play a dragon with Bolshack in its name from your mana zone, whose cost is equal to or less than the number of cards you currently have in your mana. Okay, so that is quite a common mechanic we see in Duel Masters nowadays, where you can play a creature for free from your mana zone, but not more than the amount of mana you have. So that prevents you from, just bringing out any kind of absolute beast. And this creature's power is plus 1000 for each fire civilization card in your graveyard. So not just creatures, but for every card, and not just attacking, but permanently. So this is potentially pretty strong. 1, 2, 3, just 3 copies of that. Okay. Next we have Bolshack Crisis next. This is a reprint, I believe. He's a mega armored command dragon and a hunter. Okay. First, he has this effect known as Double Sympathy. This is quite new to me as well. This creature's summon cost is reduced by 2 for each of your dragons for each dragon you have in the battle zone, okay? And the cost cannot become 0 or lower, okay? So you get a lot of dragons out. This beast with 25k power can come out much cheaper. Next, it has World Breaker. For those of you guys who don't know what that means, it destroys all your opponent's shields with 1 attack. Yes, I mean, please don't compare this to the old days. The power creep has just gone way overboard, but it's still pretty fun to play. I've been watching quite a lot of Japanese players play Duel Masters recently. Next, all of your dragons gain Speed Attacker. Okay, and when your dragon attacks, you may reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is a dragon, you may play it. Wow. Wow. Truly a crisis. Next we have, this is really cool to finally see in real life, because I guess it's not like super meta, but it's quite a common card seen in the meta because of its effects even today. Even though it's not that new of a card, I believe. Bolshack Dragon, a mega command dragon and a member of the Revolution Army. You guys might remember this mark, indicating that it's an evolution creature. So the whole point of this creature is this effect known as Revolution Zero Trigger. If a creature attacks you while you have no shields left, you can reveal this card from the hand in order to reveal the top card of your deck. And if it is a fire creature, if it is a fire non-evolution creature, you can play it and then place this card on top of it, so instantly bringing this guy out in order to protect you in the case when you're about to suffer a final direct attack. It is a triple breaker, and when this creature is placed or attacks, you can choose 1 opposing creature, and then the 2 creatures are forced to battle. Yes, so after you play this card for free using Revolution Zero Trigger, you basically choose the opponent's attacking creature, and hopefully your creature will win and end up destroying it, so it will not be able to inflict you with the direct attack. But of course, if your opponent has more creatures after that, then that's something you'll have to worry about. But this is not once per turn. You can essentially Revolution Zero Trigger this guy many times per turn if you have multiple copies in your hand. And as for his evolution condition, he can evolve on top of any fire creature. 1, 2, I'm expecting 4 probably? 3. Oh, is the max number of cards in Duel Masters 3? I think that might be the case. It's been so long. Anyway, next we have Bolshack Cross Next. This one is an armored dragon, is a speed attacker, power attacker plus 5k, triple breaker. Neither player can summon creatures of cost 4 or less. Okay. And then the spell below at 8 cost, Bolshack Saga. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck, and from among them, you may play as many dragons with Bolshack in their name. Return the rest to the bottom of your deck in any order. That is a bit insane. And something you guys might have realized, every card we've seen so far has Bolshack in its name and is a dragon. Next we have Bolshack Next, an armored dragon, double breaker. When this creature is played, look at your deck. From among them, you may play a card with Lupia in its name. For those of you guys who might remember this very old card known as Coco Lupia, they are basically these fire civilization firebirds, and they tend to support dragons by reducing their cost or giving them other bonuses, that kind of stuff. So this guy literally lets you summon one for free from your deck. Okay, and this creature, this creature gets power attacker plus 1k for each Firebird in your graveyard. Okay, so specifically just Firebirds, but yes, very similar to the Bolshack mechanics. Next, Super Spark at 5 cost, shield trigger, tap all of your opponent's creatures. So this will save your life if your opponent is about to destroy you. 2 copies of that. Okay, now finally we are seeing some non-crazy looking cards. This looks similar to the old format even though the art is leaking into the bottom. A light and fire card. the Sacred Spirit Dragon Knight Saints Bolshack, okay? An Angel Command Armored Dragon creature. This creature's summon cost, it can be reduced by 1 for each Angel Command or Armored Dragon in your grave. However, the cost cannot become 1 or less, which makes sense because monocolor creatures can go down to 1 cost, but that 1 cost applies to each color. So dual color creatures, you must definitely pay a minimum of 2 costs to play when it comes to all of these cost reduction effects. A speed attacker, power attacker plus 4k, and double breaker. Okay, quite tame compared to what we've seen so far. Next, finally, non-foil cards. Neo Bolshack Dragon, power attacker plus 4k, and triple breaker. A literal triple breaker for 8 cost, okay. And next you have Bolshack Zone, a 2 cost card. Place the top card of your deck in your mana zone. So some of you guys might remember, it is essentially Fairy Life, a very good mana ramp effect. Oh wait, 4 copies of that. Okay, so Duel Masters goes up to 4, but they purposely only gave 3 copies of some of the key cards. Makes sense. Next, Bolshack Superhero, Armored Dragon Hunter, double breaker, and when this creature is played, destroy all non-psychic creatures with a power of 3000 or less. I would describe what psychic creatures are, but I think it's gonna get a bit too complicated, so I'll avoid it. It's basically kind of like an extra deck, alright? After that, destroy all psychic creatures with 5000 power or less. Okay, so the psychic ones don't end up surviving anyway. I don't think there are any psychic creatures in this deck, okay? Either way, next, for 2 costs, we have the spell Superhero Time, Cho AU Time. Choose one of your opponent's cost 3 or less cards in the battle zone and send it to its owner's graveyard, okay? So why this is important is because other than creatures, now in modern Duel Masters, there are many other kinds of cards you can have on the field. There are like field spell kind of things, I think they're called D2 fields. You can have drag heart weapons, which is another kind of thing. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So this allows you to target them. 4 copies of that. Now finally, a more ordinary looking card, Bolshack Battle Cross, Armored Dragon, a shield trigger. When this creature is played, you may choose one opposing creature, a dead creature, and this creature battle. And during battle, this creature's power increases plus 1000 for each fire card in your graveyard. Okay, so that explains why at 7 cost he's only 4k. Aha! Next we have Bolshack Glory Lupia, which is a firebird but also an armored dragon. So it meets the condition of being a dragon, a Bolshack in its name, and can combo with everything else even though it's literally just a bird. When this creature is played, you may send the top card of your deck to your mana zone as tapped, and if that card is a dragon, you may send another card from the top of your deck to your mana zone as tapped. For 3 cost plus 2 mana. Insane. Yeah, this is basically the card you will want to play at the start of the game, and of course there are 4 copies because it's just so important. Next we have another evolution creature, Super Dragon King Bolshack, okay? Well, I don't know what I was expecting. Armored Dragon. First it has Gravity 0. If you have a dragon with Bolshack in its name in the battle zone, this creature can be summoned without paying the summon cost. Okay. Evolution on top of any of your fire dragons, triple breaker, and all of your creatures get power attacker plus 1k for each fire card in your graveyard. Yeah, so being faithful to the original Bolshack. Being faithful to the original mechanic, basically most of the cards in this set just seem to power you up for each Bolshack or dragon or fire card that you have in your grave, and just increases the power of your whole deck. And finally, I'm sure this would be super nostalgic to some of you guys because this artwork on top here is the original Bolshack Dragon, coming back as a retrain as a twin pack card. Of course, it is just an armored dragon, it is a double breaker, and while attacking, this creature's power gets plus 1000 for each fire card in your graveyard. And the spell at the bottom is Duelist Charger for 3 cost. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and from among them, add all cards with Bolshack in their name to your hand, return the rest to deck bottom in any order. But let's face it, if you're playing this deck, that's gonna be a 3 draw. It's gonna be a no question 3 draw. Next, it is also a charger. Some of you guys might remember this. We had chargers in the English formats as well. After playing this spell, it goes to your mana zone tap, so that helps with ramping too, because you have a lot of high cost creatures in this deck. Next, Bolshack Lupia. This is just a firebird, so finally we have a non-dragon that can be a dead for some of the revealing effects in this deck. When this creature is played, look at your deck and from among them, choose one creature with Bolshack in its name, show it to your opponent, and add it to your hand. After that, shuffle your deck. Okay, Searcher. 1, 2, but for 4 costs, not sure how worth it would be. And looks like that's all for the structure deck itself. Now let's take a look at the enemy character and creature decks. Okay, so first on top, there's basically just a card which explains how you can play the single player format using this deck to fight against this enemy deck. But of course, you don't necessarily have to use the Bolshack deck, you can use your own decks if you have them. Okay, I'm assuming most of these characters are in the manga based on the art style, and I honestly have no idea who they are. So first we have Rich, Shizuka. They each have a certain kind of effect in order to disadvantage you or advantage their creatures. Next we have Toto, Yu, Babel, Tower of Babel, Whites, okay, Kisanadu, Yes Man, okay, and Zakira. Now this guy I am a bit familiar with because I've read the Duel Masters wiki enough to know he's basically the final villain of the first generation. And next, coming to creatures, some of you guys might be able to recognize a few of these, I think. First of all, we have the dragon, the godly destruction dragon knight Garzaga, an armored dragon zombie that is a double breaker. This creature cannot be attacked. And if you have another dragon in the battle zone, this creature gets power attacker plus 6k and triple breaker. Okay, pretty badass. For only 6 costs, that's really strong. And I mean, there are some... We literally have a 3-cost dragon here. Alright. Next we have the Black Divine Dragon Zekira, a dragon zombie. When this creature is played, destroy one of your creatures. Makes sense, 3 cost 5k, that'll be a bit OP otherwise. Next we have the... Wow, well I'll just call it Melnia. He's a Liquid People Ghost Rainbow creature. I don't know, the rotten electronic brain Melnia, something like that. He's a Slayer and this creature cannot be blocked. It's a pretty deadly combination. Next we just have a vanilla creature that is the Soaring Demonic Beast Gigapi, a Chimera fused with a Firebird. Now that is creepy. Oh! This is a Necro Dragon. Yes! Dude, this is bringing back so many memories. One of the final English Duel Master sets, the ones with like all the super dragons, you know, Super Necro Dragon and like, yeah, Bajula, all Super Armor Dragon Bajula, all that kind of stuff. Dude, this is so cool. Yes, Black Divine Dragon Girand, a double breaker, and when this creature battles, after the battle, destroy this creature. Next we have, this one looks like it's probably from our time as well, another Divine Black Divine Dragon, I mean Zarba. When this creature is played, your opponent draws 1 card. The Cursed Shadow, Shadow Moon. All of your other Darkness Civilization creatures get power plus 2k. Oh! Flying Man, a Hedorian? I'm not sure, a mutant, is it? Mutant? I think it's supposed to be mutant in English. When this creature is destroyed, choose one of your opponent's cards in your hand without looking and force them to discard it. But I definitely... Aha! Of course! In my Fire Aggro Rush Speed Attacker deck, this guy was definitely there. The Disassembler Pikapu, a Machine Eater with Speed Attacker. And of course, Deadly Fighter Breakclaw, still meta in the Japanese game. This creature must attack every turn with if able, but of course that is definitely a limitation it must accept, or a drawback it must accept for being a 1-cost 1000 power that you can play on the very first turn. Man, this deck was just so fun to open, so nostalgic. The new cards look so cool and it's pretty excited to test out their effects as well. Who knows, maybe I'll make an online match about this too so that you guys can see how they play. But anyways, that'll be all for the 20th Chronicle deck. Battle now, Bolshack Duel. Next up, let's open Outrage Victory.